Hey guys, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Andy.
And we're doing this vlog style because we want to be like Colton.
Just like Colton.
Okay, it's another great week, but we need someone to be in the cube. He's my brother from a past life. Courtney!
Yay!
How do you look in here?
What's happening?
Sorry.
Too close.
Okay.
Nice camera work, Tracy.
Thank you. This was, okay, these
was a
episodes
good one.
keep getting better and better.
This season's a good season.
I mean, it's just a great season. I love the way it's going. I'm like loving the women. I'm loving Colton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
he's
it's
doing
just,
a really good job.
He's doing a great
He's very
job.
He's surprisingly more mature than you would think.
Last week, based on the episode last week, we did this Insta poll.
Oh,
Yes.
where we
this is
asked the viewers, were you Team Kaitlyn or Team Hannah B? Because it definitely was a divided
Right.
front.
And I know where I stood on it.
I
Where
know
you
I
stood
stand
where?
on it.
Which I am not into either.
You weren't into either.
But if I had to pick,
You had to
Based
lean
on
one
last
way.
week
based
only.
on last week only, I would have picked Kaitlyn because Hannah seemed like she was going off the rails a
Right,
little bit.
and I felt the same way.
Right.
But
No,
you
I like
were hard.
Hannah.
Yeah, okay. So, the Insta poll came in, and 54% of you agreed with me and Corey and said Team
Yay,
Kaitlyn.
46% agree with me.
Which means 46% thought Hannah B.
Yeah, I mean, well now, we'll get to it, but now I'm like way Team Kaitlyn.
So this did start with Chris Harrison telling the women, they're all grouped around in the circle.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, ladies, you need to pack because in 1 hour you're going to Singapore. Before that happened, he comes in to talk to the women about how the week's been, and he looks straight at Hannah B in the eye and he goes, Kaitlyn, how are you feeling?
I had to watch it.
Oh my God.
It was so uncomfortable.
So Tasia gets the first one-on-one, and they
Right.
go to Sentosa Beach
In
to
beautiful
bungee
Singapore.
jump
Yeah.
with B-U-N-G-Y. Did
I
you
wouldn't
notice
bungee
that?
jump.
Yeah, I did.
I wouldn't bungee jump here. I don't know that I'd do it there.
No,
No, I don't.
absolutely not.
It did look fun. Although I will say that Tasia was like, yeah, sure, I'm scared, but okay.
I did think that their chemistry wasn't as strong. They didn't really talk about anything during that date. It was just
Well,
kind of like smiles and kissing and
Well, the one they got to dinner.
Yeah, and then when they got to dinner, I will say I kind of was surprised to find out that she was married.
But she wasn't crazy dramatic about
No.
it. She
No.
was just very like, this is my life, this is what's happened.
Well, and it was her
this is
high
who I
school
am.
sweetheart,
Yeah,
and so-
but I like that as opposed to being like, I have to tell you something.
Right, so he gives her the rose, obviously, they kiss, they go on then the Ferris wheel, which was like the London Eye or the high
Thing in
roller in
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just so certain that when they stepped onto that like little buggy that there was gonna be like Tennille Arts being like, welcome to
It always comes back to
Singapore."
Tennille Arts.
Yep.
So then the group date happens, and this was, they kept making sure that we noted that it was the biggest group date because it was 13 women.
Yeah.
So they go to the market in Singapore and they start walking along and just doing all these little things. And then Colton just suddenly is like, leech therapy?
I wonder.
We should go in there.
I wonder if we should stop
Not
and get
planned at
leeches.
all.
No plan at all. But also, ugh.
Wait, but you
you
would
take
assume
walk-ins?
that half of the ladies would freak out.
Yeah.
And they're all walking around with the leeches
Well,
and
at
doing their
first they
interviews.
did.
But it was
Well,
so
they had
weird.
a moment, but then they were
You
like,
can walk
whatever.
around with a
Well,
leech. I was
I
like,
know.
shouldn't you be like sitting down?
Cassie and Colton get their palms read or their
By an
cards
They're
read.
amazing
so-
fortune teller. Now, she's our pick.
She
She
is your,
is. That
she's
was
your
just so
pick.
weird to me, but I did feel like a moment where they actually have some sort of chemistry.
Yeah.
Because she's had
She-
almost
yeah.
no
Well, they were
screen
like,
time.
they were like,
Yeah.
Colton, you are
Yeah.
our winter, and she is spring and summer sister. And they got hung up on just sister.
So you must be related.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And then they were like, ugh, but then later on she
Past
kisses him and
life.
she's like, would your sister kiss you like that?
That was weird.
Meanwhile,
Okay, so then they go to the, it's not really a cocktail party, it's the dinner evening, the dinner part of it.
Yeah.
So what happened is all the women are fighting for the time, and it does seem again, like they usually make that a big drama thing where they're like, excuse me, I'm cutting
Yeah.
in. And even these women have kind of made it where it's like, they get that that's how it goes, but
Yeah.
Courtney, it seems like, I don't know why she refuses to go try to cut in.
yeah.
But she just sits
she's
there.
so reserved. She's waiting for him to come to her.
Which is
But she's
such
also
a
been
wrong
very
way to
quiet.
play this.
She's
Yeah,
been
I
so
agree.
quiet this entire time.
Demi had just had this moment where she finally tells Colton that her mom was in jail and getting out of prison this week, it
Which,
sounds
where are
like.
the follow-up questions to that? by the
Another
way?
bombshell, and he's totally fine
he
with
was
it.
just
He's
like,
like, okay, sure.
Well, no, and so then she goes back and talks to him one more time to I actually believe she was just thanking him for the
Yeah.
way he handled that conversation.
Yeah.
And then Courtney just flips out. It is just like she cannot stand that Demi went twice and she never
But
got
it's
one.
just so weird. No one else complained about it.
But yeah, so Demi gets the rose, Courtney freaks out, and as you could just tell, she's like, why am I even here? Do I even need to be here? And you're like, you really don't, and actually you won't be for long.
Yeah, you're probably gonna go home.
So, okay, so then that happened, and then we
Right.
go to our next one-on-one, which was Kaitlyn. So this date was so funny to me because the whole date consisted of going to a store, Kaitlyn trying something on, looking
Walking.
absolutely gorgeous,
And then him kissing her.
him being like, oh my God, you look amazing, let's kiss.
That's my favorite
But
dress.
if you
Next
look,
outfit.
he has just champagne in every shot where he's like watching her. You know he is just boozing. Like every
whole time.
every
She
dress
ready yet?
she gets on, he's like,
She
okay.
done? Is she ready yet?
I understand that that's fun for her, but that's also not a date.
So this is where we get serious, and So they go on to their dinner date, and this is where we reveal. Oh my God, this was like really hard to watch.
The scene she planted earlier. I'll tell you when it's time.
I can't remember a time watching an episode of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette when they talked about something so serious,
really serious, really heavy. I cried watching it. It's a really like honest, just like tough conversation, and also like very topical of what's happening in the world today.
And she was very articulate about all of it, and so I was very proud
the way
of the way she handled herself.
And composed.
Yeah, very composed.
So basically we find out that in college about 4 years ago, she was essentially drugged, her drink was drugged, and she was sexually assaulted, along with some of her friends. And it was horrifying, the details that she gave, and she's a survivor. And it was so emotional. Like I said, I cried, and Colton was very emotional during it. So basically what we find out about Colton is what he says to her is he had dated a sexual assault survivor, and it sounds like basically what he says essentially is, the reason I'm a virgin is not because I haven't wanted to lose my virginity, it's that the person that he was ready to lose his virginity to wasn't available to him in that way because of what she had been through, which I thought, and so it wasn't necessarily his decision to not.
Which was fascinating.
Very emotional, right?
It's
so emotional.
But he told it at the right time in the way that she told her.
Oh my God,
because everybody who was point blank early on going, "Why are you a virgin? Why are you a virgin?" He's not gonna go.
It's like, none of your business.
It was really heavy and really beautiful the way it was handled.
Yep.
Kaitlyn gets the rose and the kiss, and it was very emotional, and I literally like went to commercial break like with
How could
tears
you
in my
not give
eyes.
a rose after that?
So then we go to the cocktail party.
Here it comes.
Let's twist back into drama mode. Kaitlyn, which again, this made me love Kaitlyn even more, pulls Hannah B, and they're like, let's talk.
Yeah. She just seems like an adult in a sea of.
Well, and she's, exactly, right. And she said, having this conversation with Colton and realizing that there are bigger things in this world going on than like my petty fight with Hannah B. They like have this talk, and they really do seem to hash it out, and by the end they're like, she's like, I'm not wishing anything ill upon you.
Yeah.
And Hannah got to say, I think, a little bit of her piece, and then she gets to say, of course I don't feel that way about you.
But then you're like,
Right, yeah. But I really like that they at least...
Liar, liar, pants on fire. I was like, what is happening right now? She is lying.
Okay, so this is the moment where Demi and Courtney kind of this feud deepens, and Courtney gets upset, and Demi's getting upset, and Demi just decides, you know what? I'm gonna go tell Colton that Courtney is the cancer of the house.
Which I was like, huh?
I was like, mistake, don't waste your time talking about someone else.
Well, not even that.
I know.
Every
time. Well, except for at work this time.
I know, that's what I'm saying. When it happened, I was like, oh, she's gonna go.
Well, that's because I think he saw Courtney like.
Yeah, because she's, whatever. But also, calling someone the cancer of the house
that was
is
crazy.
so extreme.
No, that's a
But
term you don't
everyone
use.
got so dramatic when she relayed that back, you know, when Courtney sat with the other girls and said, she says I'm the cancer of the house.
Who here thinks I'm the cancer of the house? And Demi's like,
me.
So then we go to the rose ceremony. Let me get my Sharpie of death.
Oh, I didn't see this one coming.
Hannah G, my girl, gets the first rose.
Right.
And it comes down to Onyeka, Courtney, and Tracy for the final rose. So Onyeka gets the last rose. Basically, the tease that we get is that they go to Thailand, which is where I honeymoon, by the way. It's very beautiful there.
Oh.
Heather, it looks like, gets a one-on-one. And then the other thing that happens in the tease is that something happens with Elise, and she says that she thinks she made a very big mistake.
She ordered the wrong thing at dinner.
Yeah, I know. She wore the wrong shoe. Like something, it's not something big.
Yeah. A big thanks to y'all for watching.
And tune in next week for our next recap. You know, I was thinking about bungee jumping but out of the cube, but I think I'll just take my bike instead.
Comment below with questions because we're finally going to be answering them.
I can't wait to answer people's questions.
And I didn't mess this up.
I'm so proud of you.
I know.